Carson Wentz on the practice field, prepping to take on the undefeated Eagles as they travel down I-95 for a Sunday showdown. It'll be Wentz's first matchup against his former team. Should be quite a scene. Welcome in to Birds Huddle, powered by PointsBet, along with the one, the only, the Barrett Brooks. I am Taryn Hatcher, and the Birds' Monday night win may have been less than 48 hours ago, but Barrett, it is time to move on. We've got division play starting up in just a couple days here.
Absolutely. You know, when division play comes, you can just throw everything out the window. It doesn't matter. You know, division games are more important, so guys tend to play a little bit harder against a guy you're going to play twice in 1 year. So, yes, just throw it out the window when you come to the division. You know the players on that team, you've been playing these guys for years. These are the games you got to really go out there and be ready to play. All
right, and speaking of moving on, here's Carson Wentz today on gearing up to face his forward team.
You know, we'll find out. We'll find out. I'm excited for it just because of the nature of the game. Obviously, you know, they've started hot. You know, we know where we're at and everything. It's a divisional rivalry, all of those things. I've been a part of this one. I know the emotion that goes into it from the other side. So I'm excited for it. But again, you know, you try not to make the game bigger than it needs to be. Every week's a big week. It's hard to win in this league. And so I know once that first kickoff goes, it'll be football again, and I'm excited for it.
All right, that brings us to Barrett's three-point stance presented by your Mercedes. Your first stance, Carson Wentz. He wants this one badly. As you heard, Carson was asked if there were any added emotions heading into this one, and he told reporters that was how he started that clip. We'll see. But Barrett, we already know.
Come on now. It's some extra sauce in that. You know what I'm saying? He understands the magnitude of this game because, yes, it is the division game. But this is the team that first slighted him. And that's what he feels. This team slighted him. They didn't treat him fairly. I mean, he picked his ball up and he left. Come on, man. We understand what Carson is. He's going to say all the right stuff because he doesn't want to create any locker room lingo when he's out there. He didn't want them to put anything up on the board. But Carson's going to be ready to play. In fact, he had some great games against Washington. I remember he was a magician. He, you know, scrambled for that first down. That, you know, he went straight through the pack and ended up made that first down. This was great, you know. So I can't wait to see Carson out there. And plus, they ran him out of town. At the end of the day, they went out and got a second-round pick in Jalen Hurts to replace him. And he was kind of annoyed with that. And when he comes in, he's going to see that statue. That statue that's not him for winning the Super Bowl. He's going to walk up and see a statue of the guy that won the Super Bowl for us, and that's Nick Foles. Nick Foles is the reason why we won the Super Bowl, not him. No, I can't say that. I'm sorry. But yes,
yeah, you can.
Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, but he got us there. You know, and that's the biggest thing. He got us there. He won 13 games for this team to get us to the Super Bowl. You know, well, actually, Foles finished the last game he played in. But, you know, he won from that point on. It was great. He was in the MVP conversation. He was all that season, I must admit. But after that, after the injury, he declined. And instead of him taking it up and be like, hey, guys, I need to figure out what is going on with me, he chose to be like, all right, I'm cool. I know it all. So we had to go. Jalen takes over. So, you know what? That's what it is.
Sometimes when there's problems outside, it's important that you look inside, Carson.
Nah,
anyways, let's move on to your second stance.
No accountability.
Jalen Hurts.
None.
Well, on the flip side of things, that's where you find Jalen Hurts. Lots of accountability with him. But realistically, you could say he might have a chip on his shoulder heading into this one. It cannot be forgotten. The Wentz era came to a tumultuous end just as Hurts was wrapping up his rookie season and was ascending as a young leader in that locker room. And it seems like that power shift just internally might have fed into Jalen having even more motivation to succeed here.
Well, he'll definitely have motivation going into this. This is the guy that replaced, you know, Carson Wentz. And I can truly tell you, he did not help him for them 3.5 games that Carson Wentz started. I doubt seriously he was the best teammate in the world to help this young quarterback through those last 4 games. Well, 3.5 games, because remember, they took him out and put in somebody else. But Jalen Hurts probably needed him to do that. But long story long, Jalen understood the magnitude of what he needed to do way back in his rookie year, that he had to take control of the team, that he had to go out there and be influential in that locker room. He had to be the team leader, and look where it's led him. It's led him to being a starter on this team. might be being a franchise quarterback for this team. So yeah, he has a big chip on his shoulder to show, hey, this is the reason why you were kicked out of here. You was pushed out because of my play, the way I played. And Jalen Hurts is going to look at it like that. He's the leader on this team. He's going out there, blood, sweat, and tears with his teammates. And I didn't fully think that Carson Wentz was fully invested in the rest of his team like Jalen Hurts is. Everybody respects Jalen. Everybody looks up to Jalen. The most important position on the team, they look to Jalen as that guy. So yeah, Jalen's gonna want to go out there and play and show, hey, you didn't waste your time, you didn't waste your money. I'm the real deal. They paid Carson when they should have paid Jalen Hurts.
I would have loved to have seen or heard what Carson's internal monologue was as Monday Night Football was unfolding. All right, and that final stance, the Eagles' schedule. Ooh, it sets up nicely for a big-time run, Barrett. I know the guys in the locker room, they say they're not putting the cart before the horse.
Absolutely.
But I can, and it looks great.
When you look at this list, really, there's only 4 teams on this list that were that made it to the playoffs last year. Other than that, look at that list. Commanders, the Jaguars, this should be both wins right there. The Cardinals are going to be a tough one. I think they can win that. Dallas at home, they're going to win that. Steelers, they're going to beat the Steelers. They're going to beat the Texans. They're going to beat the Commanders again.
Colts.
Here, the Colts are going to be here. I don't know where they're in a tailspin right now.
Yeah.
The Packers, this is going to be a nice little battle. But I really think that they have more weapons than the Packers do right now. The Titans, they're in the dumps also. I don't know where they're descending instead of ascending. The Giants, they're ascending, but hey, I think we'll have their number. And then the Bears, I think we'll beat up on the Bears. This is a very, very winnable schedule that the Eagles have. But it doesn't matter what the schedule is. Like I said yesterday, it's got to be another time when they have faceless jerseys out there. No names on a jersey. They got to worry about what's in-house. As long as they play the way the Philadelphia Eagles want to play, and they play with the conviction that they had on Monday night, there's no team in the league that can beat them. If they're that focused and that intent on beating whoever's in front of them, they won't have to worry about it. So yes, that's a very, very good schedule, but it doesn't matter who's on the schedule. I really believe this team has enough talent, and if they come with that same attitude, they'll win it.
You have to beat the teams that you should beat.
Gosh. This is how it's supposed to feel right here, man. We put the work in all week, had a long week, we put the work in, we came out here, we dominate these boys.
Yes, sir.
And we still let money on the table.
Right.
And we still let money on the table. Crazy. So why we gonna enjoy this? Hey, I'm gonna say the same I said last week. We still ain't played the standard.
Come on. Back to work.
But
I love it. All right, it's time now to get the bird's eye view presented by Oceans Casino in Atlantic City. And for that, we welcome in former Eagles receiver. You know him, you love him. He is Jason Avant. And Jason, it looks like Jalen Hurts is owning that locker room the way you're owning the front right corner of the stage.
There we go. He definitely is owning the locker room and the team in general. Jalen Hurts has proven himself more times to the organization. Just think about that. They let go of the franchise quarterback in order to bring him in. Also, when he was playing bad, they stuck by him. He has a certain level of charisma. They revamped the roster, gave him weapons, so many different things that speaks to his leadership. He has something with his ability to lead that galvanizes a team and also an organization.
Yep.
The question is, because so much of the conversation coming into the season is the team will go as far as Jalen Hurts can take them. If he plays like he did on Monday, that's pretty far. But do you think he can continue to play at that level, specifically against the Commanders this coming Sunday?
I'm thoroughly impressed with Jalen Hurts. His ability, he had so many negatives as far as getting the ball out late, not enough velocity on passes, so many things that he has overcome. And to see where he is now, just think about it. Aaron Glenn gave him the kitchen sink with all of those blitzes. Then Ed Donatello said, let me play coverage and see if that stops him. Nothing worked and stopped him. Now he's going against Jack Del Rio. If he can show something against a veteran defense coordinator like this, he's going to be out of this world. And if he does that, he's going to be successful for the entire year.
Well, with the state of the Commanders secondary, you'd hope he would be able to do so. Jason, on the other side of the ball, Darius Slay, who's named NFC Defensive Player of the Week for shutting down Justin Jefferson and picking off Kirk Cousins twice. I believe it was A.J. Brown said Justin Jefferson got 1 catch and Darius got 2. Is that one of the most dominating performances you've seen from a quarterback in recent memory?
Well, I'm not going to play this at all. Everyone was talking about this this guy, Justin Jefferson, being one of the MVP candidates and how special he was, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Darius Slay, big play Slay, heard that and took it personal. And he came out with fire and locked him down. I haven't seen a performance like that since maybe Lito Shepherd when T.O. came back for the first time. It was one of those performances by a cornerback that totally galvanized the team and caused the team to play with fire. He was pumped up, read his mail the entire day. Man, I'm hyped about it. I'm hyped.
It was amazing. That was amazing, though. It was amazing, bro.
It was one of those things. It was one of those things that he took it so personal that his energy fed the entire defense the entire time.
Exactly.
And it was just one of those. Like, I had to message him on Instagram, like, dude, you play like that again, dude. I'm going to get a jersey. I'm going to become a #1 fan.
That is so awesome. Jason slid into the DMs. Barrett, I got to ask, I know we'll talk about the 2 interceptions. He could have had more. Just the James Harden aspect of it all, just how electric it was. But when you actually look at how dominant he was against Justin Jefferson, what impressed you the most about the way he specifically was able to counter what they wanted to do with Jefferson?
Well, I think he went into Gannon and said, hey, look here, Gannon. Please put me in a position where I can go in and be on him man to man. This hasn't been one of those type of teams that have their best player, their best cornerback, follow the receiver. Well, look, they allowed him to do that. They allowed Slay to go cover him wherever he was. If he was on the opposite side of the field, he allowed him to go over there. And that way he was able to get in his chest, make him, reroute him, and everything else. He had to show him that he's an old man, the dominant old man, and you're just a little kid. What did he say? He put him in his chair, his car chair? Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. He put him in his car seat. He went out there.
You called it the crib.
Crib, car seat, whatever you want to call it. He got up in his face, man to man, and said, I'm taking you out the game. You had 184 yards today. How many you going to have today? Less than 60 yards. That's a dominant performance. I haven't seen anything like that since Revis Island and Deion Sanders. That's the last time I saw something like that.
That is pretty elite company. All right, Jason, we got to talk about Sunday, which means we've got to talk about Carson Wentz. Okay. Nick Sirianni said today there's a lot of guys in that room in the building who have a whole lot of background knowledge on Carson Wentz. With that in mind, what do you expect from the Birds as they face off against an all too familiar foe?
Well, you have to put pressure on him. I think that was what the Lions did. They put pressure on him, and Carson will forget and hold the ball entirely too long. And you remember a couple years ago, his last season here, he led the league in turnovers. So with that being said, if we can get the blitz going after him, he's going to not see a pass rusher, and the ball is going to be on the ground. So I think that's just the solution for Carson Wentz. Get as many guys in front of him because he wants to hold the ball to make the big play, and let's strip the ball, strip sacks all day long.
Well, he's going to try to play hero ball, And that's in his mentality, what I'm saying? Playing hero ball, holding the ball too long.
That's what I was saying the other day. I think he tries to play hero ball, and when it's not there, you literally see the oh shoot moment with Carson Wentz where he's like, oh shoot, the hero ball's not there. All right, with that, it's time now to hit the hurry up presented by Meineke. 25 seconds on the clock for each question. Jason, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Do the Eagles have the best trio of cornerbacks in the NFL?
They do. When you consider everyone, including Gardner Johnson and Avonte Maddox, they have it all. Better than everybody else in the league. I would put the Rams up there with Troy Hill. I would put the Chargers there, J.C. Jackson and Asante Samuel Jr. But when you consider everything and you add Gardner Johnson, best by far.
And Jalen Ramsey, speaking of the Rams, that one grab this past weekend was crazy.
He did get ripped up the week before, though. But yeah,
I know, but he got so high. It was so high. Anyways, number 2, which Commanders wide receiver concerns you the most on Sunday? Carson's got some weapons in that department.
Carson definitely has weapons. I believe that Curtis Samuel will be the most over McLaurin because they're targeting him at a high rate. McLaurin has 12 targets. Curtis Samuel has 20 targets. So they're trying to get the ball to him at an alarming rate. So I think that he's going to be the most dangerous.
Barrett, care to play devil's advocate here?
Well, I would have thought they would have said McLaurin. He just got that big contract. They want to get him for everything they can. You pay him, you got to go out there and play him. So, yeah. They have been targeting him a lot, though.
Yeah, they give him all the rinky-dink stuff, the bubbles and all those things.
The rinky dinks. There you go. Number 3, who will lead the Eagles in receiving yards on Sunday, Jason?
A.J. Brown. I'm going to go with A.J. Brown. We had to give Devontae Smith his love. We had to give Quez his love. We're going to go with A.J. Brown.
There you go.